The news coming out of Latin America has sent shockwaves across Washington. Russia has reportedly moved military power into Venezuela. A bold step that many analysts say could be a direct challenge to the United States in its own backyard. For decades, Latin America has been considered within the U.S. sphere of influence. Washington has long opposed any foreign powers establishing strong military ties in the region. Now, Moscow's decision to deploy military assets into Venezuela is a new phase in the growing rivalry between the U.S. and Russia. According to reports, Russian military planes have landed in Venezuela, carrying troops' equipment and possibly advanced weaponry. Satellite images also suggest the presence of Russian naval support ships near Venezuelan waters. While Russia insists its deployment is for training, technical support, and cooperation, American officials view it very differently. The U.S. State Department has condemned the move, calling it a provocative escalation designed to undermine stability in the Western Hemisphere. Some U.S. lawmakers are warning that this could mirror the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, when Soviet weapons in Cuba brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. So why Venezuela? For Russia, Venezuela represents both a strategic partner and a symbolic message. Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro has faced years of economic collapse and political isolation, heavily sanctioned by the United States. By sending military support, Russia is not only backing Maduro, but also challenging Washington's dominance in the region. Energy politics also plays a role. Venezuela has some of the world's largest oil reserves, and Russia's state companies have invested heavily in the country's oil and gas sector. Protecting those interests gives Moscow another reason to project power here. For the United States, however, this development raises serious concerns. Military analysts warn that a permanent Russian presence in Venezuela could allow Moscow to deploy advanced radar, long-range bombers, or even naval facilities dangerously close to U.S. shores. That could shift the strategic balance of power in the Western Hemisphere for the first time in decades. The Pentagon has not confirmed any immediate military response, but U.S. Navy ships are reportedly increasing their patrols in the Caribbean. Washington may also tighten sanctions further or pressure allies in the region to isolate Venezuela. Meanwhile, Maduro has welcomed Russia's presence, calling it proof of Venezuela's sovereign right to build alliances. He argues that it is the U.S., not Russia, that threatens peace through sanctions and attempts to topple his government. International reaction has been mixed. Some Latin American governments, especially U.S. allies like Colombia and Brazil, have expressed concern. Others, including Cuba and Nicaragua, have openly supported Russia's move. For China, a close partner of both Russia and Venezuela, this development strengthens the broader anti-U.S. bloc. The big question now, how far will this go? Is Russia preparing for a long-term military presence in Venezuela, or is this a temporary show of force meant to remind Washington that Moscow still has global reach? For the United States, already locked in conflict with Russia over Ukraine and competing with China in the Pacific, a new confrontation in Latin America could open yet another dangerous front. What happens next will depend on whether both sides choose diplomacy or confrontation. But one thing is clear: Russia's move into Venezuela has dramatically raised tensions, and the world will be watching how the U.S. responds.